$4,014.49. $4,845.61. And AP of $86,309.71. And AP for $44.33. In the amount of $119,554 and 04. Totaling $151,412.91. Any questions on the warrants? Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, approval of the 2014 audit. Is that Chief?
Yeah, we actually had that meeting, last meeting, handed it out. We just wanted to wait till this one, give you guys a chance to review it and approve it.
Any questions on the process? We have to approve it, do the motion, and then I have to go on and certify that. So I tried to do that, tried to get on here, and I couldn't get it. I need to do a
presentation on that last time, didn't we? Yeah, very extensive.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion that we go ahead and approve the 2014 audit as it was presented to us.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Steve, second by Mike. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chief, your report.
Don't have a lot. I have an issue for executive closed session on litigation update. So, unless you have a question for me.
Any questions for the chief?
Did you get your 300,000 from?
Thank you. Appreciate it. All of you. As far as which one best
What
offers
happened?
or
Well, either one. One up north and one down here. Just give us
strawberry. I've got about 8 of them
I
this
know
month.
it's strawberry. I'm just, okay. I mean, somebody's going to talk about them, just run through them really quick so we know what's happening.
The Bessendorfer's going to be an undetermined. He had hay in there that was first crop on the east side. Looking at the initial photographs that was actually taken, it looks like that's probably where the fire started. Total loss.
Our second crop.
No, there wasn't any seconds total.
Wasn't there some that was pretty old?
Whole part
Two,
of the field.
I think, a year or 2 year old under the shed.
Did he have some first crop hay in there this year?
It was on the exterior of the shed.
Do you think that's what's going on?
Looking at, it's going to be undetermined.
Yeah, but that have pictures that show it migrating
Looks
from
like
there.
it. The one at the Jordanelle is going to be an undetermined fire. Burned approximately about 2.5–3 acres. Luckily enough, I mean, it was the right time of year because we had some ferocious winds that could have really, I mean, it could have wiped out Fox Bay. So, other than that, that's how our reports are going to wind up. Had several out in Strawberry, alcohol. It's been busy. Been cooking.
Anything else?
Unless you have a question.
Where are you at on new equipment, new trucks? What's your number one priority? Is it gas attacks, ladder truck, tankers?
Still looking at that pumper and the ladder.
How close are we to being able to purchase one? 3–4 years out?
No, I'm hoping maybe, you know, possibly this budget cycle. I guess depending on the decision I get in my closed session with litigation. So I'm trying. I'd like to get them.
Financing options, I guess, and that's what we'll have to do, right? Yeah, it always
Like,
What all do you need? I mean, do you have something that you're worried about?
one in particular. Well, the biggest one, I mean, when ISO was here, was an aerial apparatus, because we've overrun height-wise what we have. And we only have one in the valley, so.
And then,
Need one at Jordanelle and Heber Midway Complex.
and do we, well, can we store it? I mean, do we have a place that we can put it right now?
Yeah.
If we get a bigger ladder?
We're just gonna do a bigger station.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean,
But
today,
there is one. That's actually when they've been here demoing them, that's something we've looked at, it's the height of the heater station. To get it in Jordanelle has no issue, but the heater station is, that's the reason Midway was getting rebuilt, we couldn't even get a pump in there. It was adequate for the town, so. It looks like they're going up on the cinder block. It seems like it's moving slow, but I don't know what the hold up, it really is, but they plug along pretty good for a week or two, and then they get paid, and then they slow down for a month. Typical contractor, you know. Speaking from experience.
Last Thursday, we just approved the purchase of a pumper truck for Beaver County. Cost us $538,000.
And that's for Beaver. Yeah, they're not cheap. I mean, that's just pumpers. I mean, you get in these aerial devices, you can spend well over $1 million. So it's a costly endeavor, but hopefully things are looking up and we'll be able to move on.
anything else for the chief? You got anything else for us, chief? All right. Fire marshal, fire marshal.
Nothing to report unless I can entertain any questions.
Anybody got anything for Clint? Okay. On other, Mr. Kosakowski, I know you had a request.
Sorry, I forgot.
Sorry,
Forget
Troy.
about me.
Hey, you know what, I have two burdens, my bad, sorry.
He has a good thing handout.
Sorry, Troy.
I don't know about that, but
Didn't mean to, didn't mean to. Basically, just report on the fire season that we've had this year. It's been a little quieter than years past. Cooler temperatures and moisture's helped us a lot. We did have a few small grass fires due to fireworks over the holidays. Had a couple on Strawberry, like Chief said, due to lightning strikes, and one over in Wallsburg, Jordanelle. Other than that, we've been able to jump on them pretty quick, contain them very small. Feeling pretty good about the fire system as of right now. What's your, I know things change, but typically we have like, I know the conditions were just right the year that the Whiskey Springs and a couple of them, was that in August? Seemed like that was in
yeah, it was
August.
August, first part
Is
of
August
August.
typically your biggest concern?
Between August and September, you know, things start to dry out and freeze, the vegetation. This year we've been lucky because, like I said, cooler temperatures and the moisture that we've got. Been able to do a lot of good things, done some good project work, some of the subdivisions. We did some work in Big Full Estates and up Little Full Canyon this year.
Defensible.
Yeah, so we have been working with a few subdivisions on getting the community wildfire protection plans done. So there's things like that are in the work that we can, as soon as we get them done, they can qualify for grant money and, you know, we go that route. Any questions?
Anything else for Troy?
So the rains that we had in May, we were looking at, we had a lot of vegetation area. Burn if we have contracts with the weather. If it turns out hot, it gets hot again. And dry, we may have that.
Yeah, we could have a pretty busy fall.
Right now, we're looking pretty
But right now we're looking good, and the long-term outlook that I've looked at, it's still showing wetter than normal, so.
If you could sneak 10 days of good dry weather.
Well, typically, you know, when you guys cut hay, it makes my job a lot easier with the rain and all that, so.
Anything else for Troy? Thanks, Troy.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate what you do. All right. Under other, I know Mr. Kosakowski had asked for a few minutes, so we'll do some time here.
I'd like to have this as a two-way conversation, maybe a three-way. Concerned about Ernie's report on the determined source of the fire at the Jordanelle. I don't know, maybe because I do a lot of mountain climbing and biking, it was much less than an acre, so I was able to walk the whole thing several times. I walked it with Rocky Mountain Power officials I'd have to ask the chief, where do you think the fire started? On that hillside, where do you think the fire started?
Where did it start?
Where do you think it started? If you know where it starts, please tell me. But where do you think it's
on the hill.
Well, there's the uphill, there's the middle hill, there's the downhill, and there's east and west. You know, where do you think it started?
Can I interrupt here just?
Yes.
I did have a fire investigator come up to investigate that fire. I have not gotten his report back yet.
Yeah, I think protocol would
He
go-
is the state fire investigator. It is under investigation at this point still, so.
Okay.
Then Mike, what's the point?
Well, I have several points here. First point is it was obvious that the fire started low on the hill. That's where the least damage was done and ran up. If you went to the bottom of the hill and looked up, you will see what's on my iPad there, is that the two wires touched and arced, and both wires have less than half of their width still in existence. The Rocky Mountain Power said that is a dangerous situation. They will replace the wires next week. I don't understand how that could be missed, because if there's another high wind, those wires stand a chance of being snapped. They've both been burned, and they've been, their structure's been altered by the extreme heat. It takes a lot to burn aluminum. This isn't a flooding
where
area.
the point's going.
Where the point's going,
We don't do line work.
that isn't
We put
the issue.
fires
Hold on,
out.
hold
That
on.
was the issue.
That
Hey,
isn't the issue.
Mr. Kosakowski, please make your points. Without having you on the agenda, we've made time. Please get us to your points. And we're not linemen or fire inspectors here, but I'm sure the fire inspectors will determine that. and let us
Okay,
know.
if you remember from the last, this is the second time I've been evacuated in 3 years. And I asked for certain things 3 years ago, and you have witnessed how I've been treated on that. We can go into that in another time. One of the things I ask is because the power lines out there both need, this is not a funny matter.
Really?
Well, then maybe we should go into executive
Well, what
session.
did, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about when you say how you've been treated. You were evacuated and
No,
Mistreated.
before this council, before fire district, the suggestions I have coming up, we'll get to the point.
Police, that's what we're
Yes.
waiting for.
Okay, back then, 3 years ago, made a recommendation that we protect the power lines. How do we protect the power lines? That's property owners' requirement or their need to take care of the brush underneath the fire lines. Now, this time we had the opposite situation. The power lines obviously caused the fire on the ground. As you'll soon see, you can just ask Rocky Mountain, send your investigator to Rocky Mountain. So I've had this request in for 3 years now. I've had requests through, try to form a community fire council. I haven't had a whole lot of success there, but Don can attest that I tried hard. I made these recommendations. I'm making the recommendations again, and we'll get to those points and how we implement something.
Oh, please, just one minute. Troy?
Mike,
Yes.
I believe that I met with you 3 years ago to get this CWPP in place, to do this fire council, so we could do some fuel mitigations. It went to one meeting, and that's all we heard from you guys. That was it.
Well, you were invited to other meetings, but let's continue on.
Thank you, thank you. We're
Okay.
not gonna.
Given that you have an undetermined source, I'm claiming, and you'll hear from Rocky Mountain, that was caused by...
You're a professional, apparently.
I'm sorry?
You're a professional.
Do you know my background?
Hold on.
I mean, I'm willing to go over
Chief,
my
let's
background.
stop. Let's
Just let
stop.
him
Please go on.
Please, I have told all the fire officials, I've told the sheriff, please research me. You'll find that I do have the background. Please. Okay? What's your after action report? What have we learned from this fire? It's pretty common in fire departments. What have we learned? What should we do?
Mr. Kosakowski, these folks are professionals. They do this, they go through reporting, they do all this. I know you may not agree. Please move on your list.
I'm sorry, but I also did that in my career as a professional.
That's great. Please move on, and if you have some things you want to submit in writing, you can do that.
How long did it take to evacuate the Star Harbour and Fox Bay?
When
How
I
long?
got, may I answer this?
You know, I'm not sure this is the place to answer these questions. This isn't the
Where
courtroom,
can I
this isn't
raise
the
these
fire.
questions?
this
Where
isn't-
can I raise
Walk
these
up to our
questions?
office, we can discuss.
Where
it.
can I raise these questions? Okay, these are not unreasonable questions.
No, come to my office and I'm answering for you.
Well,
Does
you
someone
and I've
have an
had
answer
discussions
how long it took
before.
to
and
evacuate?
I was on scene probably 30 seconds when I made the call to evacuate the condos.
So
And
this
I was
question
there
is how long
shortly
did it take to
thereafter.
evacuate?
And I was there shortly thereafter, and I got the same request
We
from
cannot,
the...
as a
You
fire
should have been
department,
evacuated,
do the
you should have
evacuation.
been there.
I was the one
We
doing
should
the
have filled you
evacuations.
out.
Hey,
I was the one doing the evacuations.
Okay, some of the, wait a minute now. Some of the questions that you asked, we still need to find out from the state or from the fire inspection for an accurate action report. So we don't have all the information yet.
Well, I'm giving you a heads up now then, and you can take these things into advisement, under advisement. The State Highway Patrol didn't come through for their final sweep till a half hour after I went through and knocked on every door and called every person.
Highway Patrol didn't evacuate Fox Bay.
I'm in Star Harbour, I'm next door.
Yes, you was a long ways from the fire. We evacuated closest out.
Yes, and then you finally came by a half hour later. I would like to know what we've learned from that. How can we be more efficient in this? Is that an improper question? How can we be more
Sounds
efficient?
like you, Rocky Mountain, ought to trim underneath drawings.
No, Rocky Mountain says that the landowners have done trim under the line. In talking to other fire departments in Rocky Mountain, that there's 3 ways to get property owners to clean up under those power lines. One of them is for you to issue a fire concern order. Okay, we've been asking for that for some time too.
You've never asked me for a fire order, Mike.
Let's go on. I'll give you a demonstration.
Right.
Okay, on lessons learned, there's all sorts of lessons learned here. One is that we should have a phone tree. This is the second fire with an evacuation in 3 years. There should be a phone tree for everybody there. Don't you think so?
Yeah, we first time.
Okay. Took an hour and a half to get the Star Harbour evacuated until the Highway Patrol came through. I have legitimate concern. This is where we live. This is our health. This is our property. We have a concern. Okay, I haven't done any name calling here, and yet I get this fight back.
Because I name called you.
Just to finish.
Yeah, please, and I would like these in writing so we can
I'll be glad to put them in writing.
relook at them, please.
Okay, I've been asking this board, I've been asking the county council for a number of years now to have knowledgeable citizens be put on this board. You can intersperse them with those of you who have expertise here, but there's a lot of expertise out there in the community. And the advice we've been giving just keeps going on deaf ears. We've been doing, where's the planning and prevention part? It's all response. Okay, that's what I did for a living, is planning and prevention. Okay, let's lead to some other things that I've been talking about. What you see over there is 4 days after the fire, on July 31st, 4:09 p.m., I called into the county sheriff because there were 4 young men using an AR-type weapon, high-powered rifle, firing at clay pigeons, as you see there. When I was there, one of them was doing this, coaxing the other ones to shoot at a flying clay pigeon. This is a weapon that shoots 1.5 miles. I have several. I reload. I'm well knowledgeable about the ability of these weapons. They were also shooting bursts from their hips. Okay? On August 9th at 2:28 p.m., again heard high-power rifles, went up there, and there were people fleeing from that area who went up hiking, and as I'm passing by and they say, stop, there's people shooting guns up there. So I called the sheriff again, and he asked them to leave. Okay? This is a concern because I've actually been with a group that had a wildfire started at a Missouri DNR gun range, a grass fire. And this is back in 1988 when we didn't have steel-cored bullets or incendiary bullets or tracers or any of that stuff. It's just from copper-clad ammunition that you could start a wildfire, and that's all private property. I have statements from the two managers of both of those properties that say they don't want people there shooting, they don't want them camping, they don't want fires, they don't want hunting. Okay, I raised this at county council. Okay, again, there's three ways to deal with it. One of them is the fire department. Okay, they do that in Park City, they do that in Summit County. Is, Ernie, why don't you consider that here? That I have posed to you, haven't I? Several times.
You've asked me about it.
I have asked you
wanted me to
several.
put a gate across the road.
That is one way to do it.
That's what you wanted me to do. Was put a
That
gate
was
across
one of
county
the
right.
alternatives there, okay? Talk to the sheriff about this, okay? So the three ways of doing it, one is you declare that as a fire hazard area and post a sign. They do it in our neighboring communities. Mark? The second way is what I requested from the council last week, is if you're not going to do something, then why don't you populate the JSPA, appoint commissioners. We'll get the JSPA to decide whether that's appropriate activity in a recreational area. Okay? The candidates are in. All you have to do is have Mike forward them to you. The third way is what we have done. We've had the managers of those properties put in writing an email saying that they don't want this to happen. I've submitted those on 2 occasions to the sheriff's office. The sheriff goes to the county attorney, says, no, you have to post signs at 4 corners. You have to post signs all along. You have to do this, you have to do that. That's not how the law reads. And I brought that code at the last county council meeting. I'd be willing to give you a copy of it. You can order those people out if someone who has that authority from the landowner, okay, says they want them out, and the sheriff can kick them out. And that's the other last way. That's the least preferable way. This is a community that you're expecting to fund all sorts of things down here, and we haven't been getting that kind of service back. Of stopping that. I mean, is anybody questioning here whether having fires up there? I got a picture on there of a ring fire, you know, set up, pit, and with those high winds, that never would have contained it. Okay? Why not declare that as a fire danger area, and we can just put up, there's only 2 signs necessary. The only 2 ways people can drive into that place other than through the JSSD. And that's one's right outside your station there. You have a sign posted there, saying it's a fire danger area. And the other one is the road that comes off 248 with the gate there. That's up. Okay? I mean, any reaction to that? Are you unwilling to say that that's a fire danger
May I
area?
ask a question? Ernie, what constitutes a fire hazard area? How do you go about determining something and labeling it the way it's that?
There has to be a continuation of that happen. There's never been a fire started where he's talking about. They've been in the area. They've been caused by weapons. I don't know one.
I'm willing to testify under oath that I was with a party and witnessed such a fire. Another location, a lot wetter location, by the way. Missouri gets quite a bit more rain than here.
It wasn't here. It wasn't in that location.
All right.
They can't do it
Okay,
in
but
Missouri.
Summit County and Park City doesn't require that.
To your
Okay.
knowledge, Chief, do Summit County and Park City currently have a fire restriction in place?
Not to my knowledge.
You can see the sign going into Park City.
Let me ask a question. Why does the property owner don't want anybody in there? Why don't they post it?
Or gate it? Or fence it?
Because when they do that and they go to county officials, they're told, you have to fence it, you have to gate it, you have to do this, you have to do that. The law doesn't read that way. The law does not read that way. All you have to do is put a sign that is reasonable for a person to see on the way in. I'll give you a
Have
copy.
they done that?
Yes, and they were promptly stolen within 3 days. That was done for the Carval site, which is above the Deer Cove site. They put out 6 to 7 signs. I was with them. And within 3 days, they were stolen. Okay? And what they see is an attitude in the county, and they don't want to burn their bridges. No pun intended. Okay? So they don't want to keep fighting the system.
What does that mean, attitude in the county?
Okay? We'll get in, you know.
No, I'm asking.
Okay, I have, you know, I have feet in both counties, in Summit County, Park City, and here. Okay, and I used to own property in Park City. Is that, and again, we're getting off the topic, but on other SSDs, it is clear to the people who do construction, who do development, that you have to go through certain steps. I mean, all these accusations have been in a lawsuit on the JSSD. I can attest that those are actively believed by developers and contractors in Park City and in the South Summit County area. I mean, I hear that. People come up to me, you know, or people I know, say they've heard this story. This goes back further than 2 years ago when people started filing the lawsuits and then, you know, had these audits, these forensic audits. This is years before that. So, you know, this county has a viewpoint from outside the county as being tough. Okay? You have to jump through hoops. Okay? And that's what we're experiencing here. They've done it, and they see the reaction that the county has, and they don't want to burn their bridges. They want to be able to work cooperatively. Okay, but I live there. Okay? And I've been through 2 evacuations now. I already have a kit. I told Kit, my wife, to go execute the evacuation plan. You'll see that in the interviews that I gave. Okay, well, I went knocking on doors at the request of the deputy sheriff to get my people out. Deputy sheriff was there. They all know me, so they said, yeah, God's get them out. Okay, so I expect some communication back and forth between the fire district and me. I'm in a special service district. I'm in a special assessment area. I don't feel very special. Okay, and I've been asking it for that for some time. Yes, I am. Okay, I also have, and you can check on me, I also have professional experience. Okay, let's go on another thing. Okay, because I'd like to have lessons learned. There are several lessons learned that some of which I said that there should be a call down for people to evacuate. On July 13th, you did a normal, what you do every year, of cleaning out the fire hydrants. Okay? And you opened up the fire hydrant down somewhere below me in Star Harbour. An hour later, when I was coming home, this was witnessed by, you remember the fire captain, retired fire captain from Tempe, Arizona. So there's quite a good flow out of that fire hydrant.